They are the insiders. Kris Johnston, Pierre Lebrun, and Darren Dreger join me. And gentlemen, the NHL has concluded its investigation of Evander Kane. Dregs, why did it take the league this long to determine there will be no further discipline?
Well, we're talking about serious allegations, and there was an extensive investigation done by an outside firm, not just the NHL head office. And the firm had to go through all of the details to fully determine that Evander Kane did not knowingly breach NHL COVID protocol. Now, the Edmonton Oilers would suggest that they knew as early as this past weekend that there was not going to be any additional discipline thrown Kane's way, and Evander Kane's camp would say something similar. But what we now know is that he will soon join the Edmonton Oilers. He's agreed to a contract for the remainder of this year that will pay him out roughly $1 million, $625,000 in a signing bonus, half of $750,000 salary based on the remainder of the time left in the NHL regular season, and the deal includes a full no-move clause. So Evander Kane is an Oiler.
All right, Pierre, just under 2 months until the trade deadline. How proactive should teams interested in JT Miller be?
Yeah, my sense of that situation is that if you are a contender that plans to bid on JT Miller closer to the March 21st trade deadline, you better make your best deal prior to March 21st. I think that's the message that the Canucks front office is going to share with contenders calling on JT Miller. Now, the Canucks front office has a few things to consider here on JT Miller because it's not a guarantee they move him. He's got a year and a half left on his deal. The front office with new GM Patrick Alvin has to ask this question. Where would the Canucks be with JT Miller in 2 years' time when his deal is up? Is he part of what they view as a team moving forward? Number two, this team needs young prospects, more prospects in the pipeline. If a team steps up with 3 to 4 prospects, 3 to 4 assets, it's something they probably got to look at. And number three, is their best deal before this deadline for JT Miller, or is it in the offseason at the draft when he has a year left? None of those questions are answered yet, but it's something the Canucks revamped front office is going to tackle over the next couple of weeks.
Kris, the Arizona Coyotes search for a temporary home. Sweet home continues. Any update on that front?
Yeah, well, it should be noted that the search at this point, Lindsay, remains entirely in Arizona. It hasn't gone any further than that. And it's led them to a somewhat surprising place, and that's the campus of the University of Arizona, where a new rink is being completed. And the reason I call it a surprise is because there's only 5,000 seats in this venue, and it's something the Coyotes are actually quite excited about the possibility of going on. This is a place they could play for potentially 3 to 4 years while their new rink project goes ahead in Tempe. It's very close to where that rink would be built in Tempe, which they see as a positive. And at this point, the league appears to be on board as well. The league doesn't have any rules in terms of how many seats have to be in the building because they view it as a temporary home, much like the Islanders played for many years in Nassau Coliseum and in Brooklyn before going to Belmont. This is a temporary solution, albeit one that could be a couple years for the Coyotes.
Okay. Dregs, what's the latest you're hearing surrounding contract discussions with Evgeni Malkin and Kris Letang?
Well, there have been initial contract discussions, and I'm not even sure it'd be fair to qualify them as negotiations at this point. Obviously, Ron Hextall, the general manager of the Pittsburgh Penguins, is getting work done this week in signing Jeff Carter, and I don't believe that there's going to be much of a stalling process with Letang or Evgeni Malkin. The Penguins have been talking to the Letang camp now for a while, and Evgeni Malkin, again, just based on entry-level discussions over the last couple of weeks. But they do have to hammer out term and money, but obviously both players and the organization want to keep the family intact.
And Pierre, any update on the Anaheim Ducks filling their general manager position?
Yeah, what we're being told is the Ducks have wrapped up the first round of interviews. They've interviewed 10 candidates, 3 in-house, as we've discussed before. 2 of the external candidates, Pat Verbeek, assistant GM from Detroit, and Ryan Martin, assistant GM from the New York Rangers. The Ducks plan to start second round of interviews shortly here. They should have a GM in place certainly over the next month.
And Jeff Solomon has shared nothing has changed about his vision for the future. They are the insider. Gentlemen, thanks for this.